we go, and welcome. ADELvCARL episode 6, Gather Round edition. Gather around for Gather Round, people. I'm Nate. I'm the guy who doesn't talk to women when footy season starts. Joined by Mace Man, the Spaceman. And Mace, so why the fuck did you not play footy on the weekend?
Because I was sick. I've been sick all week with the flu. Yep, laid out, day of. I texted the coaches. They were understanding, and I think we lost. Nothing really much happened. First game of the season. Should be right. I'll get into it.
Classic in for round 2.
All right.
As you can tell, JD's away for this episode. It's a few things. He's at a show right now. It could be technical difficulties. It could be anal bleeding, or it could be because Carlton got absolutely smashed on Thursday night. And I think we should just get straight into it. So Thursday night footy, gather around, Adelaide v Carlton. And it was Adelaide destroying Carlton by 56 points. And I loved every minute of it. This game was won in the first quarter by Adelaide. I think they kicked 8 goals in the first quarter. I think halfway through the first quarter, they kicked 7 goals. A lot of forward 50 entries straight to key position players such as Tex and Fogarty. Adelaide are proving to be one of the best forward lines in the competition right now. Definitely the most efficient forward line. I think you're pretty proud of them right now, Meso, given how they performed in round 1 and round 2, and obviously the changes they've done at this point. They've won 3 in a row. They're inside the 8 right now. Rory led 37 disposals, 9 clearances, 6 tackles and a goal, 16 disposals up until quarter time. And you had Jordan Dawson with 32 disposals, 9 tackles and 7 clearances, not to mention 10 inside 50 entries, proven to be just a very capable captain right now for Adelaide. And Darcy Fogarty kicking 5 goals. There's something about Carlton that Darcy Fogarty loves. He's kicking bags against Carlton for fun now. And JD was not a happy boy Thursday night. Less said about his reaction, the better. We won't shit on him too much for it, but it's not the wake-up call that Carlton needed. It's not really panic stations just yet. I think it's just a case of Adelaide were just too damn good. They've arrived maybe a bit earlier on it, but it was just Adelaide being just too damn good. Meso, what do you think about this game? Any notes or anything interesting you took out of this game?
Well, yeah, to go back to your being proud of them, I want to be proud of them, but now when I haven't tipped them, they've been winning. So kind of iffy on that. They're doing what I predicted, but later than what I predicted. They just attacked the ball. The pressure was fierce. They just outworked the Blues in every sense of the game. They're going to be, if they can keep this up, they're going to be something scary. Fogg's going to have his breakout year this year. All the Adelaide fans were saying it. And, it looks like it's coming true. Yeah. Don't like facing them. They're just a ferocious attacking football. And, they're just potent. So they're one to look out for.
Last year, Ben Keys played almost a defensive forward role on Adam Sard. And it happened again, made Adam Sard accountable. And Ben Keys got 3 goals of his own. Sard could be, I think he's 50-50 for next week. Had a bit of a hamstring complaint late in the game. Sam Walsh, first game back, almost like he never left, 25 disposals. JD said it best. I'm not sure if you saw this comment. The fact that Sam Walsh can come straight back in and play or be the best player for Carlton, it's not a case of saying something, but it's just the freak of nature that Sam Walsh is to come in 25 disposals as if he never left.
There's something else.
As we were saying before, it's not a wake-up call for Carlton, not panic stations just yet. But there's a few players that I think, they can be a little bit nervous with their, with their spot in the best 23 for Carlton. I'll do a JD and bring up the VFL. Sin Cotter had 34 disposals. Brody Kemp playing well across half-back. He's good for either, being a big body down back or in the middle as well. Lockie O'Brien and Paddy Dow in the midfield as well. It's not a midfield issue. It's just they got to get that cohesion back up and running again, Carlton. And once again, they'll bounce back. And they've got their depth players in Owies and Carroll. Owies was injured. And if they want to go big, they can bring in Alex Murkov, the Crow Cop. I think he's about 211 centimetres tall. Lockie Plowman, his spot's in danger, even though Mitch McGovern was laid out. Now, granted, it's a McGovern, so you got to be careful with these sort of players. But if they want to fix up their third tall down back, they've got a few options to think about. Carlton's next few games, they've got the Saints next round, so it's a big top 4 clash at Marvel Stadium. Chance to have 50,000 people there. Hasn't happened at Marvel Stadium since 2013, or Docklands, more commonly known. Then they've got the Eagles and Lions, so a bit of an interesting next couple of weeks for Carlton to stay inside the top 4 and bounce back. As for Adelaide, they've got Hawthorn in Tasmania next week, then Collingwood at the Adelaide Oval, and then Geelong in Geelong. So 3 tricky matches for Adelaide. I expect at least one win. They should get up against Hawthorn, but Collingwood, who they've got a losing streak against, and Geelong in Geelong, where they haven't won there since 2003. Very interesting next few weeks for Adelaide, which will set up how they go for the rest of the season, in my opinion.
I reckon they can do Geelong and Geelong. That's my big call.
Well, either that or they'll take down Collingwood with ease.
We'll see about that.
Or both.
All right. On to the next one.
Of course, we'll get to the next one. Friday Twilight. What a weird time that is. Friday Twilight. Norwood Oval, Fremantle v Gold Coast. Freo, considered, I guess, one of the slowest teams in the comp, maybe the most boring side up until this week. And Gold Coast, who, they're just a team of butchers right now. So something had to give here. And it was Freo coming back and winning by 10 points to keep their season alive.
That first half was abysmal once again. Jesus Christ. I think I was going off in the group chat and I was very sick and angry because I had the flu. And I just went to sleep at halftime. So, yeah, that first half was horrible. It was slow, choppy, skills were a mess. And, Brody coming on is what we needed. Surprise, surprise. The big bull in the midfield getting all the contested balls and letting freaking Brayshaw work on the outside is what we needed. Amazing. It's good to see that our transition was a lot faster. We had a lot of more handball and run from behind transition, which was a blessing to see. The fact that we fought back and were able to just overrun them in the end is improvement. We've still got lots of things to tinker on, but I want to see this side work together for a couple more weeks. The use of more mediums than going in with big has worked out in positives, absolute positives.
Caleb Sarong, he was a god amongst men in that final quarter. 14 disposals, 6 more than I think the next best. 37 disposals for the game, 8 clearances, 6 tackles. That second half was led by Sarong and Sean Darcy, big cheeky. Bailey Banfield kicking the sealer. Tremendous to see. When I saw him wheel around, I knew he was going to kick it. I knew he was going to seal it. My moment of the game, though, was in that final quarter early on. Schultz got the handball from Amos. McPherson came running in. Yet somehow, some way, Schultz broke the tackle, handballed it off the Walters to kick the goal. That second half from Freo, it was almost like you didn't want to play fast, but you had to play fast. I just hope you guys keep it up again, because it was that first half, it could have been, it was looking ugly. Even halfway through the third quarter, you were down by 3 or 4 goals. And I didn't have much faith in Freo, but to see you guys slowly and chipping away, chipping away. Links in the chain, inside 50 entries, much, much better. Obviously, it's against Gold Coast, so of all the teams to do it against, that was the side.
Oh, sorry, let me just slide that in. It was the confidence build we needed. It was, as you said, Sean Darcy realizes how big and how strong he is. That's what he needed to know. Lots to take away from that. Hopefully, go forward with some wins. All right, on to the Suns.
Oh, man. Well, so Jack Lukosius, I thought, was their best player or the most damaging player up until halftime. But he kicked 1 goal. He kicked 1 goal for the game, which probably signifies or typifies the Gold Coast Suns, who are 1-4 right now. It's a tricky fortnight for the Gold Coast. They've got North Melbourne at home next week and then Richmond at Marvel. If they can just win one of those games, I don't know, just something small to get something going, but if they lose the next two, I don't know what else to say about the Suns at this point. And Stewie Jew, his position looks a bit shaky. It's weird because at halftime, J-Lo's spot or his coaching position was, it was looking shaky. Now it's Stewie Jew who's, under pressure. Not looking good for Gold Coast. They need to win something next week or against Richmond at Marvel. Otherwise, you can put a line through them for this year as just like you've done every other year. And
it's a bit unfair on them in a way because their inaccuracies is what kept us in it in the first half. They could have easily put us away in the first half. Like, as you said, off the coaches himself, he could have put us... He was the worst enemy and the best player at the same time.
Kind of like his performance in round 3 against Geelong. He kicked 5 goals there. He had the potential to do that again on his home ground as well. Just a lot to be desired. And that's Gold Coast for so far in 2023. And almost their entire history just leaves a lot to be desired.
They got all the players there. They got all the chips. It's just, getting it all to work.
All right, we'll move on to Richmond v Sydney, Friday night at Adelaide Oval. Sydney winning by 44 points, back on the winners list, which means Richmond's will finish the round in the bottom 4. Not sure when that's happened, but good to see Richmond being shit again, sorry to say. Tom Papsmere kicking 6 second-half goals, career best haul for Tom Papley. 25 disposals as well. He's playing that midfield forward role, typically done by Heaney and lesser extent Luke Parker, but to see Tom Papley do it, I didn't expect him to do that so well, yet he's producing the goods. Wouldn't be surprised he's got a few cheeky Brownlow votes so far this year. Jack Riewoldt kicking 4 goals, being split open like a grapefruit in that first quarter, which was gnarly.
Their injuries are stacking up already, and it's not looking good for them. Tom Lynch is a huge out for them, and they don't look like they have anything to replace him.
Nothing of that quality either. Nothing of that quality.
Well, that's big quality. And is Amati injured?
Yeah, so apparently Adelaide allows snipers into the ground because Amati's leg just went bang, or his hamstring went off.
No.
He kicked 2 goals up until early in the second quarter, so he was on, and then he was trying to run back, and then it went.
It just popped.
Yeah. So their key forwards are being tested. I don't think Buddy will be back straight away. Sydney is still finding ways to kick goals through their mids, through their small forwards in Heaney, and obviously Papley, again, kicking 6 goals. And in goals that weren't paid was Jake Lloyd's set shot. Did you see that?
No, I didn't see that. I didn't catch that.
What happened was Jake Lloyd's kicked this goal. It's curving in. It's technically a goal, but it was a score review. Turns out the ball hits the padding, which is sticking out.
So, like it's not attached properly?
Yeah, it wasn't taped properly. It's just snicked the padding, and they've called that a point.
Yeah, it's hard done by there. Jeez.
And I already saw comments saying, you should have kicked it more accurately. Well, what more can he do? It's gone through for a goal. It's hit the small part where it's sticking out where it shouldn't have been sticking out.
No, yeah, that's the goalpost there right there. That's not his.
Richmond's got they've got some few issues to figure out, obviously with their injuries, but it's funny because Dimmer, who's on the medicinal marijuana lately, world's worst kept secret. If he's going to continue, I thought you knew that.
No, I didn't know that.
Thought if he's on the medicinal marijuana, he needs to be more creative. Get on the joint, figure something out.
Oh God! I thought he was taking it to chill out.
Probably that as well. I'm sure their players need to be involved in it as well. Few ill-disciplined acts in that game as well. Either that or get on the meth. Do something out of the ordinary. Get your season.
Don't take the West Coast game plan, Jesus.
Get the Macca's special, just a Coke and ice. Richmond's next few games, they got Melbourne, then Gold Coast, then the Eagles. Speaking of the Eagles. So they got to figure out something Richmond to get their season back on track. It's going to be a couple of months before they touch the top 8 yet again, unless they get on a massive win streak. Hard to do that without a major key forward. Jack Riewoldt, he's 34 years old. And Samson Ryan, he's still a boy. So good luck trying to figure it out. As for Sydney, they've got the Cats in Geelong next week, grand final rematch. Then the Giants, then Collingwood at the MCG for the first time since 2013. So a tough next few weeks for Sydney. Hopefully they'll be able to establish themselves back in the top 8. Well, they're still in the 8, but to cement themselves in the 8 and push towards top 4 yet again and just prove that being smashed in the grand final doesn't impact them too much.
I reckon they can win 2 or 3 of those. Possible to beat Geelong. And possible to beat... I give them over the win over GWS quite comfortably, you would expect. But
and you can say they can beat Collingwood. You can say they can beat Collingwood.
Yeah, I can see it, but it's not likely.
You can see it, but you can't believe it.
I'll see it. I'll believe it when I see it. Let's just put it that way.
Right. Early Saturday afternoon, Brisbane Lions v North Melbourne, Adelaide Hills, about 35 minutes away from the Adelaide CBD. Commentated by your girl, Kelly Underwood.
Was this a massacre?
Yes, second half massacre. Yeah, the Adelaide Hills massacre.
Another game
Brisbane,
I fell asleep through.
Brisbane Lions, 75-point demolition against North Melbourne, Adelaide Hills. Lions plus 24 inside 50s, 66% efficiency inside 50, plus 41 in marks, 33 marks inside 50, which is a club record for them. Season average is 12. So as a Pies fan, given what happened last week, I feel a little bit better how Brisbane performed here. It wasn't a fluke. It wasn't a one-off. They are just damaging inside forward 50. It's got to be Brisbane and Adelaide, the 2 most dangerous forward lines right now. Maybe not in terms of scoreboard, but in terms of efficiency and their key forwards plus the small forwards, it's damn good. And it's no wonder they're premiership favourites for a reason.
Let's see if they can keep up this consistency. This is what we want to see. We want to see them up against more top 8 competition and see if they can bring this kind of ferocity to the game. I'm going to have a question mark on Brisbane still. I've lost faith in them. Okay. Yeah, so
what they do?
Prove me wrong. It's just, as I said, like 1 week they'll just be lions, these ferocious lions. Next week they're kittens.
The Brisbane Cubs.
Yeah. You know, like Simba being like freaking doing his little roar in the elephant graveyard.
Keep going.
And then this is the, then we saw Mufasa against freaking North Melbourne. So that's what we want to see. We want to see Mufasa, not baby Simba. All right? Mm-hmm.
All right. Take note, Chris Fagan. I can't do it. Joe Danaher kicking 5 goals, Hipwood 4 goals, Cameron 4 goals, and Cam Rayner, a couple of goals. Half forward, wasn't across half back. Thank goodness. No Meso's arrow for Chris Fagan this week. For North, any positives would probably be Sheasel's 31 disposals. That's about it. I can't really think of much else. You have Griffin Logue and Ben Mackay in your defence, yet you concede 33 marks in defensive 50 and a lot of turnovers as well. It was annihilation in that second half. Boys against men, it turned out to be. And Jai Simpkin will probably miss a few weeks because of a hand injury. They've got the Gold Coast Suns next week, then Melbourne, then St Kilda. So it's going to look a little bit tricky to get back on the winners list. I don't think they're going to be a bottom 2 side, but if they're going to continue these losses, then that's not going to look pretty for the rest of 2023, given the start they had.
There's only so much your defense can do if the bowlers continuously coming into them. They're just going to get overworked eventually. And with the firing power that Brisbane has, you can't really hang it on Moneybags, Logues, and Ben Mackay. So, that should be more on the midfield, you'd think.
Essendon v Melbourne at Adelaide Oval, the game that fucked everyone's footy tips. Because Essendon won by 27 points. It's Essendon. We just don't know with them from time to time.
Yep.
But this was a very impressive win by Essendon. We've got to give them credit for that.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They took it to them. They out-pressured Melbourne, pretty much.
And clean as well.
Yeah, who expected that? You know, the team that we were all mocking for the lack of aggression to come and outpace and outbully freaking almost said North Melbourne. Melbourne, the D's. Freaking, like, what the hell happened? I gobsmacked.
Draper and Phillips as a ruck combo, probably their best game together. Draper kicking 3 goals, Phillips kicking a couple of goals. It kind of exposed Brody Grundy a bit, even though Grundy still played his own typical game. Kyle Langford making Stephen May accountable as well. I think if you stop Stephen May, you expose Melbourne's defence a bit. And it helps when you got guys like Will Snelling and Will Setterfield. They're not your main midfielders, but they're putting in defensive acts, 10 tackles each. In a midfield that's got Parrott. It's a midfield that's got Parrish, Merritt, Shield, and even Stringer and McGrath can pinch hit in the middle. I wanted to put in this comment as well because JD, well, Connor mentioned this one. Clayton Oliver, 41 disposals, but no influence on the game. I want to say it was like tits on a bull. Just no influence at all. There's no point to it if you have 41 disposals, but it's not doing anything to it. Sorry, but
Tom Mitchell of days past.
Ooh, damn. I can be offended. I can be offended now.
I said of days past.
Still offended. I am still offended by it.
Okay.
I tell you what, though, Brad Scott, for some reason, he loves coaching against Melbourne. He's now got a 12-1 record against Melbourne, given that he was coaching North Melbourne.
Yeah, that's
and obviously
amazing.
Melbourne was shit early on against him. It's staggering. He just knows how to play against them. But good on Essendon. They're in the top 4 at the end of round 5, which makes Anzac Day clash against Collingwood that much more epic. I think it'll be the first time since 2000 that Essendon.
Did you say epic?
Top 4. I said epic. I didn't say interesting. I said epic. I could say
it's
legendary.
Like the first time since 2000 I've heard the word epic. Please don't.
It's going to be cool. It's going to be awesome.
Oh.
It's going to be fun. Zach Merritt got suspended for a week for his sling tackle. Not really a sling tackle, it's just a tackle to the ground on Tom Sparrow. I'm pretty sure they'll challenge it, but it's one of those tackles. It wasn't obvious, but it's obviously with the head knocks or, the protection of the head. Zach Merritt getting suspended for a week. I expect Essendon to challenge it.
It's just principle at the moment. So, yeah, I reckon any dangerous tackle is going to go straight to the tribunal, and you're going to have to prove your case that it wasn't, with bad intent. And I kind of agree with it. I get it, but at the same time, I don't. If you get what I mean.
It can be a little frustrating. It's a good tackle, but then obviously if the arms are pinned, the head gets, or it's a head knock to the ground. Sometimes it's just a case of there's not much else you can do. It's just you got to lay a solid tackle, and unfortunately, it gets you a week. It's not a case of the game's gone soft. It's just I think we're to find ways to be smarter with the tackles. Tackle with authority, but not
middle.
Yeah. We'll find that middle ground eventually. We'll find that middle ground eventually, though.
There wasn't really much more to take away from that game. It was a show by the Bombers to the rest of the league that we're here, pretty much. We're here to play, and it's exciting. It mixes up the 8 a bit, and it gives a new taste. And maybe they can play finals this year, break that streak. But we're round 5, so I may want to settle down on that call. See where
maybe defending Brad Scott was a good investment. I'm just saying. He knows a thing or two about a thing or two.
Is he your dog, Colin?
Speaking of a coach that knows a thing or two about a thing or two, Ken Hinkley and Port Adelaide. Absolute scrap fest, Saturday night Adelaide Oval. Rainy, scrappy contest, but Port Adelaide got up by 14 points. Second time they've come from behind in the final quarter to win. Port Adelaide by 14 points. Dogs potentially missing a trick in their midfield, given Scott Lycett was subbed off early in the third quarter. Just more of a tactical sub, to be honest. There wasn't much injuries or anything to take out of that. Bontempelli, once again, leading from the front with 12 clearances. Cody Waitman, first game back, kicking 4 goals. His very first possession was a specky.
I saw that. He's ridiculous.
Did you also see his wardrobe malfunction?
No, I missed that. Did he moon us?
He didn't moon. It was frontal. He's either playing with a thong or he's not playing with any undies at all because his dick and balls fell out early in the first quarter.
2 fruit, 1 veg.
But the fact you're playing with no underwear or a thong in those conditions as well, that's a brave soul.
Yeah, that's risky business, that's for sure. I'd be wearing the double undies and skins.
A couple of shout-outs here. First one to Meso's little boy, Todd Marshall. 2 clutch final quarter goals. Jason Horne-Francis. I had to bring up his stats because up until 3/4 time, he only had 8 disposals, 1 tackle, 2 inside 50s, and 2 clearances. Horne-Francis in the final quarter alone, 11 disposals, 1 tackle, 5 inside 50s, and 4 clearances. That is a boy that stood up amongst men. What do you think about Jason Horne-Francis being booed as well? Are you a fan of that? Or obviously no one's a fan of it, but what do you think of it?
I just don't get it. Like, why? Like, was there that many North fans there? Like, even the commentators brought it up. It's like, why are they booing? It's like, what? Yeah, I was just, confused more than anything than upset. It was just more of a like, all right, whatever, dickheads kind of moment. Yeah, I don't know why, and you got to cut that crap out. To be honest, it's just not necessary. But
Good on
me
Kenny.
saying this, we're about to give Rory Lobb one of the biggest boos he's ever heard in his life.
Or just you?
So maybe.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I completely blanked out. It's going to be Freo against the Dogs. And yeah, I am looking forward to it. Who knows? Unless Rory Lobb's getting managed or there's something going on. Do you think he could be a laid out or an omission?
Oh, that would be such a coward move. But I wouldn't put it past him.
Him, not the team, just him.
Yeah, him. No, I don't want to play there. Sounds like a Rory Lobb thing.
Oh, looking forward to it. But it was once again Port Adelaide up by 14 points. They've got the Eagles at home again. St Kilda in 2 weeks' time, and then Essendon. So a good chance for Port Adelaide to cement themselves inside the top 8. The Dogs, they've got Freo Friday night at Optus Stadium. Big game, that one. Big difference between 3 and 3 and 2 and 4. Then they've got the Hawks and GWS. Big chance for the Dogs to get on a winning streak. So
yeah, they could go 3-0. Yeah. I want to see Port versus St Kilda. That's going to be an interesting matchup.
That will be.
Yeah, that will really show. That will really show who's actually. Oh God, what's the word to this? Like the big boy table, pretty much, is who's actually going to be showing up in finals, because most of the top teams have not faced the teams that played finals last year. So until they're tested and to see how they go against proper competition, you're not really sure of how good they are. But yeah.
Maybe to you it's Brisbane, to me it's Port Adelaide, the gap between their best and their worst. They're trying to bridge that. And I think it's just they're smack bang in the middle, Port Adelaide. Their absolute best can beat anyone. Their absolute worst, they lose to anyone. So I'm just looking forward to seeing how they go throughout the year, bridge that gap. And they're a wild card. You don't know where they're going to finish up this year. And obviously with Ken Inkley, his job being on the line. and their young midfielders as well. You know, it's not going to be perfect every week. You know, Zach Butters, Connor Rosie, Horn Francis, Dersman, they're not going to perform each week. But and even their defence, it's still undersized, but their Irish defender, O'Lear, is stepping up from time to time. And Todd Marshall as well. He can be a surprise packet. If he can have some consistency, play a full season, he can kick 40-plus goals.
Let me special mention to squeeze in SBS. No. Yes? Have you got the right initials? Sam Powpepper. SPP.
Powpepper, not Petrovsky Seton.
Not Petrovsky Seton. Oh, Jesus Christ. He was amazing this game. Pressure machine. It's exactly what they've needed to stand up, and I hope he has a very good season.
All right, now's a good chance to get into the Sunday games now. So Geelong against West Coast. It's Geelong by 47 points. Another percentage-boosting win for Geelong to get this season up and running. Feels like this happens all the time between the Cats and West Coast. First quarter's a bit of a battle, then the second quarter's just a blitz from Geelong. Maybe not at Optus Stadium, but Geelong home games. Technically, this is a Geelong home game. Second quarter blitz just opens the game up, and that's how Geelong win. Special mention, though, to the Waffle Eagles, because they got absolutely pummeled. I saw that 169 points.
Well, they got nobody, and they're not allowed to draft anybody either. So they're kind of stuffed. So with all the injuries, there was a call up to the main team. So then the Waffle team was empty as well. West Coast are in some strife here. That's for sure. But like, it's not. Oh, I was gonna say it's not their fault, but yes, it is. They didn't pull the trigger at like 2019 and get rid of some of the aging players to bring in new players. They saw the Tim Kelly trade as a final push to the flag in the premiership window, and it hasn't worked out for them. So yes and no, but you know, once again, the fans got to stick with it and realize that it's going to be a couple of years of rebuilding. But Eagles are a powerhouse. They'll get back to strength really quickly. There's no doubt.
It's kind of hard to say it's not their fault when it happened all of last year, their injuries. Obviously, COVID played a factor as well. 2021, their injuries crept in. So this is technically their third season in a row injuries are impacting them. So, you can't really say they're unlucky at this point if it continues to happen. Obviously, guys like Luke Shuey, Elliot Yeo with their soft tissue injuries, Nick Natanui and his Achilles. He also had a knee injury, or a couple of knee injuries as well, Nick Nat.
We're going to see.
Their youngsters, they've got their youngsters. They're starting their rebuild. Sorry, Eagles fans, it's a rebuild, whether you like it or not. It doesn't help when guys like Campbell Chesser is out, and Elijah Hewitt did his ankle in the first 15 seconds of the Waffle game, which led to 169-point demolition. So there's not much depth to go from. It's players coming in, players coming out, injuries galore. You get some silver linings. Jake Waterman kicking 4 goals. Oscar Allen, he looks pretty good up forward with 4 goals. Besides that, though, Jermaine Jones across half-back and also in the middle, but there's not much else to be positive about for West Coast. Their midfield is just getting destroyed in terms of clearances. And even defensively, they got destroyed, particularly in the second quarter. Cats took 24 marks inside 50 for the game. And the Cats won the clearances by 18. And they're probably going to miss Josh Rotham as well. He's another sling tackle on Tyson Stengel, and Stengel got subbed off.
Oh, it broke his wrist.
Head.
Who broke his wrist? Yeah, Stengel's injured his wrist.
Oh, all right. I'll scrap the head bit then. But he was subbed off, and it came from that. It came from that tackle though. And Ginby got subbed off, but West Coast confirmed he wasn't injured. It's just more of a management thing. And I think Yo only played 55% of game time, so that was more of a management thing as well. Geelong, 2 big wins in a row. Expected wins against Hawthorn and West Coast, perhaps the 2 worst sides of the competition this year. Cameron Hawkins and Brad Close kicking 4 goals each. So we had 5 players kick 4 goals. No one could kick a proper bag. So besides that, though, there's honestly not much
Yeah.
else to go over in this match, unless you saw something of note or.
I mean, like, just the thing with Gimby is, he's playing inside mid, so they're gonna rest him, because you can't do it for 4 quarters for the whole season as a first-year player. But yeah, Geelong just flexed their muscles and showed that they were the better team. Nothing really else to say about the game, unfortunately.
An interesting game to get into was GWS v Hawthorn. Not so much skillful wise, but the intensity was there from the very start, and an epic finish as well. We just caught it. Meso shaking his head. He put in the cheeky tip for Hawthorn to win. It didn't come to fruition.
Once again, they let me down. When are you going to win? When are you going to freaking pull off the upset? Come on.
Okay.
Where's the poke the stick meme? Poke the stick meme. Come on, do something. Do something already.
They almost did. 2-point loss to the Giants. All it took was hang time Harry down forward and hang time Harry down back. The hand of God. The hands of God and the foot of God.
Did he teleport?
Either that or Jarman Impey nearly teleported with his foot, nearly kicking the match winner. But a score review on the line, Harrison Himmelberg just touching it. It looked for all money going through for a goal and an epic finish as well. But again, it was the Giants by 2 points. I have a question for you, Mesa. I'm not sure if you picked up on it. I don't think anyone's really picked up on it. It's just more of a TV broadcast issue. But the Giants in their orange uniform, Hawthorn in their yellow, given the lighting and the sun as well, plus I think the TV lens as well, did make viewing the jumpers a little bit tricky from time to time. Hawthorn's white shorts did stick out, luckily. But did you have any issues watching the game? Or
No, my eyeballs are too good for that.
Good.
Yeah. All I saw was the orange team, and I just got bored really quickly. Yeah. Once again, wanted to see the Hawks get up because nobody likes the orange team. And because I tipped them. And because I want good things to happen for the Meekster. That's pretty much, yeah. Nothing really to take away from that game, to be honest. It's spoon ball. So,
Oh, you put the Giants down there.
Giants aren't going anywhere this season.
One thing I wanted to touch on, and this was mentioned by Sean Burgo, and I think there'll be a few more comments on it as well. JD also wants to put in this comment. The Giants' top-end midfield, or their talent in general, yet there's not much connection. There's not much chemistry involved with the Giants' top-end talent. You see like a couple of players stand up, have big games, but then the others just drop off. So It's not like it's come together. And I think that's going to be the issue with Adam Kingsley for this year for the Giants, is you'll have some big games from Tom Green, Colts, Whitfield, Josh Kelly, Himmelberg and Hogan down forward as well. But it's not going to come together at the same time. You're not going to see a huge upset win by the Giants. You're not going to see, take note performances from the Giants. You might see like a shellacking from time to time against, a mid-range side, but nothing to really go, oh, gee, this Giants team is scary. I think I'm ready to put down that comment for this year. You're not going to see much excitement from the Giants. It's just going to be that transition building year where they're probably going to be in the bottom 4 as we all expected, but just not be close to finals. As far as the Hawks go, though, disappointing loss, 2 points. They had a big third quarter. They had only kicked 1 goal in all their third quarters prior to this game, but they kicked 5 third quarter goals, and we thought, the Hawks can pull it off. Just, I think, being a young side and running out of legs. Jai Newcomb standing up, though. They needed a few more people to stand up, but just couldn't happen, unfortunately. One of those matches Hawthorn needed to win. They're not going to have much of these games to get 4 points. So to lose this one, they won against North Melbourne. They couldn't win this one. These sort of matches are few and far between for Hawthorn. It's going to be a tough year for Hawthorn, hopefully without these tough losses. Did you see the injury from Chad Wingard, though?
Oh, what? He got injured again, the poor bastard?
Not a calf, a severed tongue.
What? What do you mean? It's like it's... Oh, okay. What I was going to say, who's karate chopping people's tongues off out there?
He didn't cut his tongue off. He didn't break his tongue, just a split tongue. I think it was a
Lizard
narrow
man.
boot. Lizard man. Chad Wingard is Lizard man. Lizard man. Take
all I can say,
hand, lead me to the land that you understand. Sorry.
Oh, he can eat ice cream really fast now.
Yes.
Oh, but yeah, in the famous words of a Liverpool fan, Hawks, next year is your year.
Okay, mate, so we know who it is.
It's Ogre. It's Ogre!
Don't clap just yet. I want to see the siren or hear the siren. Is that it? No free kick? Collingwood have just got up by 6 points. We've nearly done a Tottenham. We've nearly bottled it, but we got up. No undefeated sides anymore.
Run ET out
So-
onto the field right now. Elliot needs help.
So what we need, so what this means is St Kilda v Carlton, top 4 clash. Collingwood v Essendon, top 4 clash. Good little preview for round 6.
42 disposals, 847 metres gained. Nick Dacos.
God.
Good footy energies.
I'm a man of few words. There's not much I can articulate that makes sense anymore. I've had too many head knocks here and there. I can be a dumbass from time to time, but I am not the dumbass that goes on social media to abuse players. Racism, sexism, not in it for me. But what I am sick and fucking tired of is any player getting abuse because they fuck up a multi, because they fuck up a leg, because they fuck up footy tips. I'm doing quotation marks, but there is no reason to be this fucking angry at players for messing up something trivial, something minuscule. It's one thing to be angry about it. It's another thing to go on social media, go into their direct messages or their public profile to send abuse. It's one thing to create a burner account and send it through. I'm not targeting those ones. That's another complete fuckhead of its own. I'm talking about the fuckheads who 95% of these people have private accounts. 95% of these people sending abuse. Turns out you click on their profile, it's private, but they're also a father. They're also a mother. There's someone that has a high-paying job, someone that's living well off. How the fuck do you have the time, effort, and the temperament to send abuse to players? Because, again, they fuck up your tips because they do something minuscule. It's just a game. Fuck off. Stop the social media abuse. I know this is not going to end racism or sexism or abuse in general. But grow up. Seriously. Stop the abuse. I can't call it out, though, but it's ridiculous. I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
Who's got the time to do it?
We have lots of issues with gambling in this country, it seems. But that's another scenario altogether.
Let's go break some hearts!
All right. Now, this is a special young gentleman that is in all of our hearts. He was born on the 26th of February, 1998. He is an Australian rules footballer playing for the Fremantle Football Club, the man, the myth, the legend, Banners, Bailey Banfield. Now, this boy has played 62 games for us and scored so many beautiful left snaps. He has the highest ATAR in the Fremantle team, so he's a smart boy. and he just gives it his all. Like, I don't get why he gets so much hate. He is always the whipping boy amongst the fans and always the one that we point the fingers at. But the amount of times that this guy has saved us off his own boot, he's a boy through and through.
Bailey Banfield, we love you. Cheeky clap for a cheeky boy. Great left foot snap as well to defeat the Gold Coast Suns.
You remember this, pal? You're a boy in a man's world.
This week, for the ESSvMEL Hall of Fame, I have selected Seb Tape, inaugural Gold Coast Sun. Seb Tape debuted in round 2 of the 2011 season, and he was a part of the inaugural Gold Coast Sun, starting as the game in the back pocket. He collected 11 disposals, 9 kicks, 2 handballs, also accumulated 8 marks and 3 tackles. Tape attended Westminster College in Adelaide, where he was school captain. What a boy. He played 40 games for the Gold Coast Suns in between 2011 and 2016. Did a big knee injury in 2012, where he collided with Lindsay Thomas. He made a long way to return in 2013. He had a big season, but unfortunately was unable to sustain it and got delisted. Seb Tape, welcome to the ESSvMEL Hall of Fame. Enjoy that one, Meso.
I've never seen this man before in my life. No. His last name's Tape. I can't. Of course he was a football player. His last name was fucking Tape. I got nothing. That's okay.
Clap it up, you loser.
Cash time!
Wow.
It's Ring of Honor on Honor Club yet again, episode 8. He faced Lee Moriarty. We'll know the details of this game by April 20th, which we'll discuss a little bit more in depth if we have a way to watch the game or the match. Basically, it's another win for Takeshita. Yeah, I don't know who Lee Moriarty is. I'll have a look at what he's all about, but depending on the match lane. Okay. Lee Moriarty, Sherlock Holmes villain. Takeshita with another win. We'll have more details on the match next week, but that is short and simple Takeshita watch. I have a question for you, Meso. What do you think about Gather Round?
Yeah, once again, they stitched us up with the scheduling, but it wasn't too bad. I reckon it would have been nice to go to Adelaide Oval if I was an Adelaidean, and to see the games. But I reckon it should have rotated. The fact that they're now going to get it for 3 seasons straight is a bit of a dog act. But I get it. It was a good hit, and stick with it for a couple of years. But I would like to see it to come to WA. Because, why wouldn't I? Gives us access to loads of football over 4 days. I reckon it's been great. You got any input?
As a Victorian, I love it. I didn't expect it to go to Adelaide or South Australia for the next few years. I know they'll have a few grounds, ovals, stadiums, propped up for the next few years, but I would have thought maybe on a per-year basis, which I think they'll do after 2026, go to WA, go to New South Wales, go to Queensland, possibly go to Tasmania as well. They might be in a competition by then. But, it's a thumbs up from me. The only issue I have is the technicality about being sold out. So basically, if you got a ticket to Adelaide Oval on Saturday, you had access to both games. So in most cases, fans went to one game. It was mainly Saturday night, Port Adelaide v the Dogs, but they didn't go to Melbourne v Essendon.
And that's how we end it.
That is how we end it. I'm Nate. with a cheap wine and 3-day growth right now. Thanks again, Maceman the Spaceman, who we hope will be debuting next weekend. And JD should be back as well. We'll be recording, though, after Anzac Day. Maso, how's your availability for that one?
Off the top of my head, I'm not sure, but we'll see.
Ooh.
We'll see.
We'll figure it out. But we'll be recording our quarter review next round or next episode. Take care. Comb your hair, whatever the fuck, and we'll see you next week.